Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we'll be trying to reproduce the Vaporwave terrain like. Um, so I've got some examples here, just taken from Google or DuckDuckGo in this case, but it doesn't matter. Some images of what I wish to accomplish. It might not look as good as those. Hopefully we can get some similar results. But that's pretty much the goal that we want to achieve, right? This kind of terrain, right? So I believe there is a coding train video on this type of terrain, and I really suggest you to go check it out before watching this. It is probably better explained than what I'm going to do. But anyway, let me get to the whiteboard. Sure. Okay, great. Let me also light up the place. There we go. Okay, great. So normally in 2D, you would have, let's say, your grid, right? And the goal is basically here, if you were to take any of the vertices that connects all of the rectangles, right, and obtrude them outwards or inwards into the screen, right? So visually, this would be your canvas. And you want to pull them out from the screen. But we want to take this and see that it's rotating. We want to rotate it based on here, right? Think of it as a skewer, right? You put a skewer there and you rotate the skewer. So maybe it would like look something like, I'm not really good with 3D, but perspective would be here, right? So you would see something like this, right? So, well, that's not a great way to see it. um, Let me erase this real quick. Okay, anyway, we basically want to take this skewer and turn it like this, right? So that this part is so that we're kind of looking down onto a road or onto a terrain, right? So that's the goal. So we first need to create all of those rectangles, well, all of those vertices. And then we also need to use WebGL, right? So we need a 3D context to draw on because we'll be rotating on an axis that doesn't exist in 2D. Well, the axis exists, but the rotation wouldn't apply, right? So we need, we'll be using WebGL as the renderer for the canvas. Whenever we do create canvas, we'll be passing WebGL as the renderer. So this will be a 3D context. So essentially, we'll be specifying the x and y's for all of the columns and rows. And we will also be, so for all of those vertices, we'll be creating, instead of creating rectangles, which we will first create just to show the principle, we will want to create basically points at those vertices, right? So there is going to be one point, another here, and we will let P5 determine which point to connect between them, right? Well, we'll basically create those points in order, right? So instead of creating rectangles, what we'll want to do is, this is a smaller canvas, but we'll want to create triangles from those rectangles, right? Yeah, that's okay. So let's say this is our mesh. This is our terrain. We will have those vertices that connects all of them, all of the current rectangles, for example. We will need to specify to P5 to create these kinds of rectangle. Right now I'm messing up by not having them in the same orientation, but it would all go from top left to bottom left or vice versa, right? It doesn't really matter. But basically it's going to be something like this, right? So this is what it should create in the end, right? A mesh of triangles. And then we'll specify this vertex, for example, this one in the middle, it's going to be extruded outwards. So that's the goal of today. And then we need to rotate it on that skewer, like just my thought on it. So yeah, let's try to do this first, and then we can play with the colors and we can play with the render to make it look a lot better than what is actually drawn on the on the canvas right now. Great. So first thing first, I need to pass to this the WebGL renderer. Okay, great. So now I'll use the columns and the rows, right? So let calls equals, well, it's not initialized, and let also rows. Okay, great. And we'll need a scale for the specific like rectangles or squares. So we'll have a scale of for right now. Let me do a scale of 50, so it's going to be pretty big, but I'm fine with it for the moment, right? So in the draw, we'll do all of this in the draw loop. That's fine. So just picking a color. Okay, I'll go with a dark color, and we can always update this, like I said, in the end. For right now, we'll just try to get the concept first working. So here we can calculate the amount of columns and rows that we want, or maybe we could have the like a constant or a value also for the plane, plane W and plane H for the height and width of the plane. So we can do maybe like twice the size of the canvas, maybe. That seems fine by me. So plane width equals the width times 2, and plane H is the height times 2. Okay, great. And then we'll have the calls be equal, not close, calls be equal to the plane width divided by the scale. I'm using the config object just because I'm reusing that sketch to integrate with the site, and I need the config object to be set up. So anyway, it doesn't matter. You can just have scale be a variable somewhere. I wouldn't recommend calling it scale though, since P5 already has this word used for function. But anyway, so we'll have plane height, which divides by the config.scale. Okay, great. So now in here we'll have for let x equals 0, x is less than the calls, x plus plus, great. And then for let y is equal to 0, 0, y is less than the rows, y plus plus, there you go. And then we'll just draw a rectangle for right now, and we can move on with different stuff afterwards. So let's draw a rect, and let's set the stroke to 255 just so that we have a good contrast. And let's do no fill for right now. We'll definitely be using the fill eventually. So rect at x times the scale, config.scale, and y times config.scale. And I guess I'll just use the square function. One less argument to pass. There we go. Okay, great. And then scale. Okay, great. So we have what we wanted. The only difference right now is that using the WebGL renderer, translate everything to the center of the canvas. So we need to translate it back to going to get there eventually. We need to translate it back to the corner left of the canvas, right? So translate minus width divided by 2, and minus height divided by 2, right? There we go. So we've got our plane. Now let's try rotating it on the skewer, just like I said. So we might want to rotate before the translation though. Rotate. Can't type today. So we rotate on the X, right? The skewer is placed on the X axis. So we want to rotate based on the X. And we'll rotate by, let's say for right now, maybe 90 degree, right? So half pi. Let me move it here. Okay, maybe 90 degree is too much. Let's divide by 2. Wait, no, wait, yes. Okay. I'm not seeing anything. It might be because those are squares and P5 just cannot interpret those into what it needs for the 3D rotations, right? So let me just close those. I don't need them. Oh, well, I do need the sketch actually. Okay, there we go. So let's right away try to make the mesh instead of using squares, right? So we'll just comment out the squares, and we will use something called, we'll use begin shape like we've used previously in other sketches, and end shape. But we will pass to begin shape a constant. In this case, it's called triangle strip, I believe. Maybe. We can always take a look at the P5 references for this. But I believe this is it, right? This is the name of the constant. Now we need to create a vertex, right? So vertex at basically this. Okay. Now we get lines. That's because we only set the vertex, right? We go through the y's. We create the shape for every rows. And for those rows, I'm only setting a vertex on that specific row, on that specific column we're in, right? But we need to also set the strip to have one vertex on that axis, on that column, and on the next column as well, right? So let's do this, +1. There you go. So now we have the full strip. What I'll do as well is just add 2 instead of 1. No, that won't work. Okay, never mind. I'll still add 1. Okay, anyway. Okay, great. So now we've got the plane, right? If I try to rotate it now, rotate X by half pi, is that too much? Yes. I mean, it is working now. Obviously, previously with only the square, since it wasn't 3D, it didn't understand how to rotate it on that axis. But now we are good to go. Maybe half pi, so 90 degree is way too much. Maybe half 90 degree would be fine. Sure. Is that close enough to what we wanted? Yeah, I guess. That's fine. Okay. Maybe it's a bit too much still, too little still, right? So maybe we want pi divided by 3 instead of half pi divided by 2, right? Pi divided by 3. Yeah, I want it to look really far instead of from the top, right? We want to see more than less terrain. But we still want, like, this I think is nice. This is nice. And this would be, so pi would be 180 divided by 3. It would be 60 degree, right? 60 degree. Okay, so we've got our strip. Now this strip is not centered, so we could move everything to width -2 plus or minus the plane the plane height divided by 2, or could we just omit this altogether? Yes, I think this will be the better way to do it, right? So, and the other way will be plane height divided by 2. Okay, great. So I think we're good. We're pretty much centered on both sides. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to make the plane width like times 3 even. Like I want it to go really large. Great. And this will be the cutoff view, right? So we'll cut off at that specific place. Hopefully it looks good on YouTube. I know sometimes it's it doesn't always look good, but hopefully it does for you. Okay, great. So now let's try to we'll need, so what I was thinking about to extrude those, right? We want maybe we can use noise to know how much a given point is extruded, right? So what I'll do is I'll do an array of arrays of arrays. So let plane, I'll call it plane. You can call it whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. So plane is going to be created after I set the row. So plane equals array dot from length gth length of the calls. Okay, great. And dot fill with array. Great. And then we can just do for let, well, I'll just copy the array under here, which will basically be doing the exact same. So this and this. Okay, great. I'll remove the begin shape. I will not be needing it. Okay, and now I can do basically plane at index x index y should equal to noise noise noise. And what value do we want to pass it? I could pass it x and y, but those values are way too far apart from the previous x and y that it's not going to work really well. Okay, property, I cannot set properties of undefined setting 0. What is the issue here? No, GTH, that's fine. Cannot read property. Cannot set property of undefined setting 0. You know what? Let me remove this. It doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So planes index x should equal an empty array. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, never mind. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're good. So noise xy. So if we were to use that, so down here, right? So using our vertex, the first two value is the x and y. The third value will be how much it protrudes from the screen, right? It's the z-axis. So we can use our plane at index x, index y. Yeah, just index x, index y. Those are not going to be showing really that much since it's a value between 0 and 1, right? So it doesn't seem like it did anything. Let me add this back, and this should be +1, right? And since we're using +1, we might want to use +1 in here as well. +1, there you go. Just otherwise it will not. Okay, so we could maybe multiply this value that goes between 0 and 1 by maybe 100, right? Okay, we've got something right now, though it's a little bit, and I'll put this as like max or just max or height or max terrain height, and I'll do 100 for right now. Those variable names are really long. Hopefully you can find something a little bit better for the naming. Oh, and this will be config. always forget it. Okay, so it seems pretty random to me right now, just because the x and y are changing by 1 every time, which is a lot, like a big gap for noise. So what I'll do instead is just use y offset equals plus equals 0.05 maybe, and x offset plus equal 0.05 as well. We can change those values afterwards. And we'll have here, let x off equal 0, let y off equal 0 as well. And here, instead of x and y, we'll use x off and y off, right? Okay, great. So, and maybe we also want to random between 0 and 1000, and random between 0 and 1000 as well. Okay. Right now it seems a bit weird. What I'm thinking right now is that we could try using triangles like this instead. There's something wrong, which is this over here. +1 should now be going onto the y. +1. There we go. And here it should be +1 as well. There we go. Oh, we get the same result. I wasn't sure. We can wait. Yeah, okay, there we go. Let's leave it like this. What's the issue now? It's only doing lines. It's supposed to be +1 here. This is fine. X off, Y off. Why is it doing lines right now? Well, I have no clue. Wait, let me get back to somewhere we had previously. Okay. Sorry, I was a bit confused as to how we got to a point where it wasn't working. Okay, anyway, y off equals this number. Doesn't matter. Okay. So we can use y off and x off in here, right? X off, y off. Okay. And what if I were to invert them? So to have y off and then x off. Okay. I would really love to try +1 over here, and here would just be x, and here would be y +1, and this should be moved over here. Okay, we get the same result. Okay, maybe those values are not small enough or big enough, right? Let me do 1. Okay, we get some more fluidity, right? It moves a little bit more. So let me also translate downwards. So maybe, I don't know, should I do -100, for example? Yeah, so it's going down basically, visually. But it's going, if it wasn't rotated, it would go further back, right? So we would see more. It's like scaling it down if it was a 2D canvas, right? So maybe down by 300. Not 3,000, 300. Okay, great. And we can do something about this where we have a further distance. Great. Okay. It doesn't look good on the video, but hopefully you tried out. What I can try to do is change this to a fill and remove the stroke. So no stroke, and do the fill as white. Maybe with some alpha into this, maybe like 100. And let's add back the stroke in the end. Okay, hopefully you can see this a little bit better. Okay. Let's say I want the max terrain height to be a lot bigger. So maybe like 1000. Okay, way too much, way too much. So maybe 300, not 3000, 300. Okay, and let me change the noise detail, right? So let me look up noise detail in here. There we go. Let me take a look at this noise detail. Noise detail, there we go. So let me, I cannot, okay, 6. I think it is highlighting, but it's not showing it. I don't know why. Okay, noise detail 625. Let's see this. Okay, I'm wondering why it's going like along those lines. Really perplexing right now. Not exactly sure why it is doing this. If I were to put only one value in here. Okay, this is kind of weird. Anyway, let's continue. So maybe we'll have a lot of 20 and a fall off of, or is it the other way around? I never seem to remember those things. Maybe 3. Okay. And give me a second. I'll try to figure out why it's doing along the x-axis more for the noise than the y. Maybe changing the y off to maybe like 4. I mean, it is making it a little bit better. Not sure if this is exactly what I wanted. Let me comment this out. Sure, it's okay. Let me remove the fill for right now. I'll be adding it back for you. No, yes, no, yes, fill. Comment it out. No fill. No fill. Okay, great. So I think this terrain is good. Yeah, okay. Let me try to work a little bit with colors, right? So if we were to take a look at this, and maybe the angle is not enough in the end, right? Maybe half pi divided by 2 was enough. It was not enough. Divided by 2, it's going to be more of a top-down view. Or do I want the other way around, right? Maybe half pi. Yes, okay, right. So these are more like mountains. And maybe I want to put it down just by 100. And maybe half pi too much. So half pi minus half pi divided by 2. Divided by 3. Divided by 4. Divided by 3, I think. It's fine. That's good. Okay, here I'll do this up to 100. Okay, that's better. Okay, now let's try, yeah, that looks good, I think. I'll try to move it back a little bit as well. Well, forward, so it should go on the y-axis, so maybe not divided by 2, but it should be divided by 3 maybe. Well, that doesn't change much, right? That's fine. That's fine like this. Okay. So let's take a look at the images again. So in this example, we have like a dark blue and a like fluorescent blue for the highlights. And let me try to do something similar. Whereas whenever we hit a certain value, right, on both of the column, right? So whenever the column is less than let's say a fourth of the total, or a sixth of the total columns, and whenever the column current column is greater than the full amount of column minus a sixth of the columns, we ramp up the amount that we use. So, for example, let me show what I meant. So here, right? We'll call this const mult maybe. So mult will be the value to actually be used in here. And this, we can remove it. We can put it as mult for the moment. So this didn't change anything, which is fine. I didn't plan on changing anything. So now what I'll do is I'll say like, I'll first do like let mult, and then I'll do if x is less than cols divided by 6, we said a sixth, we might want to change it, or x is greater than cols minus cols divided by 6, then we could say maybe mult. Well, mult is equal to lerp of what value? This value. And this value times 4. I don't know. Well, I'd say 4, but we might want to change it. So times 4 at map between x. Well, I'll do 2 if statements then. Yeah, sure. This if, else if. There we go. We'll do the same thing for that one. Okay. So if x, which goes between 0 and this value, to 0 and 1, right? Yeah, I think that makes sense. We'll see. Okay. Let me copy this whole thing again. Whoa. Okay, there we go. And let me do, the only difference would be here, right? It would be cols minus this to 0 and 1, right? And it would be going from, yeah, this to cols. Cols, right? Yes. I think it looked better on the right side than the left side. Why is that? 0 to cols to 1, 0 maybe? Yeah, I think that's it. Yes, there you go. Okay, awesome. Okay, I think we've got it closer to what we wanted. And maybe a sixth, I'll call it divider. Not a great name for this, but I'm not the best with naming stuff. So hopefully you can come up with something a little bit better. So let's say a fifth of the total columns. What's the issue here? Divide, oh yeah, config dot, I always forget my config. Okay, divider here, here, where else? Here, and over here. All right, maybe a fifth is not enough, and maybe it's too much, maybe a third, right? So starting from a third of the terrain, it's starting to get more and more incrementing the maximum height of the terrain, right? And maybe I want to even divide this by, sorry, not this, here. Divide this by maybe 4 and make it go a little bit, oh, maybe that's fine. Divide by 5 just to see. That looks good. Maybe I want to make it down a little bit more. And maybe I also want to, maybe the fill could be a little bit less even apparent. 70. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Also, let me do, where was I? maybe this I want to do like ×5 even, like I want really to see the mountains. Let me make this into full screen, right? So there you go. Great. It looks a bit weird. Right now it's really glitchy. This is most probably because there's a lot of vertices to render at once. So what I'll do is I'll remove this from draw for right now, put it in here since it's not really changing that much. So yeah, let me do this. Let me put this full screen there. Great, right? So right now the mountains on the left and right side are a little bit difficult to see. What I can do is just make them no stroke, no fill, just to see them more easily. I mean, it's still difficult to see them. What I'll do as well is, while I'm at it, I'm going to say that let increment x or x increment equals 0.1 0.1, right? And let y increment equals 0.35, right? I think I did right now. I think, yes. Okay, here, this over here, right? Might want to increment it a little bit slower whenever we get to those lerp, right? So maybe I want to lerp again. So y-inc lerp that goes between, this is for the y 0.35 to maybe a little bit less, right? So 0.2 at the we can say const amt for amount, right? The amount of lerp that we want, because I don't want to recalculate this map every time. So amt over here, amount there. So here amt as well. Should it be the other way around? Yes, I think it should. Yes. Right. Yep. Maybe 0.2 is too much still, right? Sure, that's fine. And we'll do basically the same thing, but for the y, for the x. And so it starts. This one starts at 0.1, and I want it to go to like point. I want it to go to something lower. Oh yeah, this is not right. 0.35. I want it to be moving a lot slower, so maybe 0.5, and here it would be 0.25, right? Sure, if we compare the left and the right, I think it's fine. I think it looks good on the right side, right? We have more details a little bit on the right side. So, okay, great. Now, let's do the same for the left side now. So, not much difference. We'll basically copy this, put it over here, and copy this amount, place it here, copy this amount, change this whole thing for this. Okay. Though we need to invert those values. There we go. Okay, that's better. Well, is it? Maybe I don't need to invert those values. I'm not so sure. think it's fine. Sure. Anyway, we'll keep it like that for right now. Now I want to tackle the colors, right? So I'll have in the config the fill color, which will be some color, and then I'll have the stroke color as well, which will also be some other color. And I'll go on my fun and little dandy site called Colors. I really suggest you to go check it out. Great site. And I'll call this Vaporwave. Maybe somebody has some color palette for that. Well, it seems like they do. So I want a darker color for the, maybe this could look good, right? Maybe this color for the fill, fill color, right? Fill color, and we can do, yeah, that's fine. And then the stroke color, we can try this one, right? We'll see. Anyway, we're trial and error right now. So let me not put the hashtags there just because I want to be able to play with the alpha value, right? So I'll do const fill color equals to, let me think about this. It's going to be, I have done previously the same thing. So currently it's an X, the color, right? So for the R value, yeah. For the R value, we want the config.fill color dot slice 0 2, including 0 but excluding 2, and we want to unx this value because it's currently xed. Unx this value, great. So it'll go between 0 and 255. Okay, great. That's exactly what I want. Let me do this. So we'll be copying this 3 times. Though here it'll be including 2, excluding 4, including 4, excluding 6. R, G, and B. There you go. And here we can just say fill color dot R, G, and B, right? Dot R, dot G, and dot B, right? This should be taking our color. That's cool. That's already in here. Okay. And let's do the same, but for the stroke color. Stroke. We might, I don't think I'll be really actually using the alpha for the stroke, but you never know. Stroke color, and I'll just copy this. And I'll keep alpha value in there, but as 255, so. Okay, I guess, sure. Why is the stroke not the stroke I set it to be, right? It seems to be purple right here. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I need to use the stroke color for this. Done. There you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's cool, right? If we took a look at this one, there you go. So that's pretty cool. We could try now if we were to take a look again at the examples we had. We could have like a blue background sky or a dark purple sky, right? Let me look at this color, what it is actually. Hopefully my extension worked the other day. It wasn't working. Okay, there you go. It is working. Let's do sky color. Okay, there you go. So sky color, and sky color should be full, right? It shouldn't, yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then over in here, wherever we draw the background, there it is. We can do config.sky color. Now let's take a look at it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's take a look back. We can have also this kind of I want like a sun, right? A red burning sun. So I would like to have a gradient for this, right? So let me do a darker inside, for the color here. Maybe well, no, let's leave it like this. I'm not good with colors actually, so well, like I said multiple times. Let me go here. Let me take this color, for example, right? For the fill. Save. Let me go back to this. Yeah, that's better. That's better. A lot better. Okay. Now what I want to do is use a circle at the end of here, right? Let me think about it, right? So I don't want to rotate that circle. I want to draw it before drawing anything else. Okay. Okay. Let me think. Okay. So we'll have a just after the background, right? We'll have a circle at, so right now we are not translated, so at minus width divided by 2 minus height divided by 2, and we want it, let's say 300, and let's say, oh, okay, no, I don't need this actually. It should be, yeah, right, it should be at 0, 0, right? There you go. Okay, great. Don't sad. This circle isn't great. Let me. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me do instead. Let me do the same kind of thing. Let me do for let a is equal to 0, a is less than 2 pi or tau plus 0.001, a plus equals 0.01, right? That should be fine. And then let's just do begin shape, and we can keep triangle strip on, or no, I don't really need it to be this, and shape, great, and we'll do closed, so we don't need to actually go up to this. Okay, and then here we'll do vertex at cos of a times 300, let's say, and sin of a times 300 again. We'll set those as variables. Okay, why is the actual, do I need to push it backwards? Yeah, maybe it's like, yeah, let me think. So I want to make it a lot bigger, that means, and I want to translate it based, so translate, translate z minus 500. Let me just see this. Okay, translate 0, comma 0, comma minus 500. Yes, so this is moving it back. Okay, so I'll need to minus maybe the height, I guess. So a plane height. I'll use this as reference, but it's definitely going, ooh. Ah, that's cool. So we can see the full terrain right now. Looks pretty good, I think. But I know what my mistake is right now. So this, we can keep it at 500 and just translate it back over here to 500, right? This, yeah, okay. Oh, is it that value I want to change? Let me see. If I were to just say like 1000, let's do move const move equal 2000, sure. Move okay, I think this is right. So I'll do move equals to plane height over here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Plane height, there we go. And I'll make this circle based on the plane height. So we'll do plane height. Let's just try plane height. Too big, too big, too big. Plane height divided by 2 should be fine. Yeah, that's okay. So plane height divided by 2. There we go. Great. And we can maybe move it up a little bit. So move it up. So it would be over here, and we want to move it up. So minus, let's say 200. I need to make it back there though. Yeah. Okay. And I really don't like the fact that down there, okay, let me see. If I were not to have any alpha, right? I think that's fine as well, right? Okay, great. So no alpha for the colors. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. So let's call this move z, and let's do const move y equals, and let's do using plane height. So here 200, we change this to this. Right, this looks good. And what if we tried on a smaller screen? Still looks good. Yeah, we're really close to it, I think. Control R. Yeah, I think we're getting really close to it. So how do I apply gradient to P5 gradient? No, linear gradient. That's exactly what I want. I want it on a circle though. Let me go on P5 website. I believe there is a gradient, not function, but library. Fill gradient. Oh wait, color, no, fill gradient, that's fine. Fill gradient over here, right? But since here we're using WebGL, I'm not sure. Usage, fill gradient, expose the fill gradient function onto your P5 sketch. How does it work? Let me try this. I don't know. We'll see what it gives us. Let me go back on here. Over here. Issues, because I did not include the library. Makes sense. Fill gradient. There you go. So let me go back here. Let me go into index. Let me add this to this. There we go. What is the issue now? Property of null. Reading, create linear gradient. Do I need the other one as well? Yes, possibly. Well, I don't know. Let me try this one instead. Wait, no. No, that's fine. Let me copy this. Let me put it here. Let me see. Create linear gradient, doesn't like it. Let me try with this as well. No. Okay. Well, I've tried. I can at least say that. I mean, I didn't try much, but I tried. I'll just use a fill value. Anyway, it's fine. So what colors should we pick for this, right? Maybe this yellowish color, right? So maybe we'll try fill with this value. There you go. Let's see. Sure, it's totally fine. I mean, there's probably a better way to do it, but I'm good with that. So let's view it in full screen, and I'll be leaving you on this. Hopefully you can add movement to this, right? So that we're really moving over the flow. over the plane. Um, we could let's do one last thing before I leave you on this. Right now we're at 50 minutes, 55 minutes, so it's a pretty long video, I have to say. But anyway, let's add the Vaporwave text on there, right? So let's get a font. So let's go on Google Fonts over here. That's cool. And let's search for Vaporwave. No fonts found, right? Vaporwave fonts. Search for this. 50 best Vaporwave found. Fonts. There you go. Let's take this one. Sure, I'm good with that. No, I'm not good with that one. I don't like this one. Let me see. This one's cool. I like this one. Sure. Let me go back. Let me just copy this. Let me go back to Google Fonts. Let me search for this. Didn't find it. Font. It might not be like a public use. Arcade fonts. Well, we had it over here. No, they're all costing something, but arcade machine font. Font. Is there some good fonts in here that we could use? Sure, this one looks good. Download, download it in here, that's fine. Okay, and then let's go into P5 references. Let's search for font. Load font, exactly what I need. Okay, and I'll be doing this on the other window, but I'm just unzipping the file that got downloaded. So summer favorite, I think it's called. Anyway, let me also take this font. I need the OTF, and let me put it in here. There you go. Great. So now we have preload function, and we'll call let font, and we'll have preload load font, right? Yes. And then it's going to be directly dot slash summer favorite dot oft dot so. Okay, I think that's right. Okay, and then what we want to do is text font. Okay, great. Over here is fine. Text. I'll move it down because I'll be adding the text onto everything else. So it'll be at the end over here, for example, and I can remove the draw. I don't need it actually. Okay, text font. Text size will be a pretty big. I want a pretty big text size, so maybe 70, right? Or 72 would be maybe a little bit better. Here I'll have text align center, because I want here this to start at 0, 0. And here we'll have the text Vaporwave. Let's see here. Okay, there's an issue. What's the issue? Signature, parse buffer, resource not found. Okay, so it didn't find the right. If we were to look into network, whenever we made the call. I'll just reload. Whenever we made the call for summer favorites, it didn't find it, right? So I'm going to copy it because I'm most probably just forgot something. There we go. Didn't find it either, right? What's the issue here? Let me move this into assets, new folder, fonts. Let me move this there, move. And let me remove the space as well. Okay, so, whoa, no. So here it should be, wait, let me go into Sketch. Okay, oh, it should be dot slash, assets, slash fonts, slash summer favorites. Did it find it? It did not. Why is that? OFT, right? It's OFT. Yeah, I mean, am I stupid or something? I might be. Who knows? Okay, now it loaded it. So what's the issue now? Null font passed to text font. Okay. Right, so the font is there. Null font passed to, oh, you know what? The font equals load font. Yes, there you go. Let me close this. Let me refresh. So why is it not drawing the text I set it to draw, right? So let me do, you know what? Let me do no stroke. Let me do fill. Let's do white for right now. I just want to see it. Okay, it's not there. Let me do a really big text size. So maybe like 200, 2000. Okay, right. I know what's happening. We need to rotate back. We need to do exactly this in the exact opposite order, right? So we need to do this, and it'll be this, and this, and whoa, and this, and here it should be same thing, but like that. Okay, there we go, and minus over here, right? No, it should be plus, right? F pi plus. There we go. Okay. I think that's right. Let me make this back to 72 maybe. Okay, Vaporwave. Why is it completely flipped in 180? Let me rotate it x by pi plus pi maybe. Okay, that's good. So the fill is fine. Maybe I want the stroke as well. Stroke 255. Maybe comment this out. Maybe translate on the so 0, 0, and then maybe 100. Okay, we'll add back the fill. We'll remove the stroke. It doesn't do much, it seems. Let's do 1000. I want to see it. Okay, 1000 too much. 500. There we go. Okay, and let's maybe move it up a little bit. So here minus 200. 200, way too much. Good to know. Minus 50. No, not 500, 50. No, I think 0 is fine. Though I would like to have like some kind of background to it. Well, no, it's looking good like this. So if we make this full screen, let's take a look. So this is the end result that we have today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it was a bit long. It was an hour and 4 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes. So a long video, but I think the result is good. It looks great, at least to me. One thing that I would have liked to done is maybe have the sun in the background be more of a gradient, like we saw in different images. Maybe the Vaporwave font could be placed a little bit better, maybe have some glow effect on it, right? Maybe changing the color to better suited color. Right now I'm not really the best with colors, so hopefully you can find something you like on colors or any other sites, or on your own, right? Um, and I'm also wondering why it was giving us lines whenever the increment was the same, but that's fine. That's a problem for a different time. It doesn't really matter. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any comments regarding this specific video or any other video that we've done previously. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.